welcome back. Shares of property group Attacq, which owns one of South Africa's largest shopping malls, being Mall of Africa. It's based in Johannesburg in an area called Midrand. Well, its shares outperforming the JSE today following the release of its first half results. Attacq reporting higher occupancies and also a sharp fall in debt, settled by its 2.7 billion rand transaction with its new partner in the Waterfall City district. That's the Government Employees Pension Fund, whom we had on the show yesterday, by the way. We had the chair, Dondom Khajala. But more importantly, Attacq saying that it's raised its full-year distributions guidance to between 10 to 12.5%. And I'm joined by Jackie van Niekerk, CEO at Attacq, for more on the numbers. Jackie, thanks so much for your time. Well, the market liking the numbers. I mean, the share price has done well today. But, you know, it looks like you have had a good first half. And judging by the fact that you've revised your guidance higher for the year, you're planning to have an even better year. Would you say that that's a fair assessment of the numbers and your operating environment right now?
Yeah, I think definitely that's why we've revised our guidance for the rest of the year. And I think there's a few factors that's driving that increase in guidance. Obviously, we've concluded the GEPF transaction. It concluded towards the late end part of last year, October. So the full benefit to our shareholders have not fully translated in the first 6 months. And I think that's why we've only provided a 2.8% growth in the first 6 months and the revised guidance of between 10 and 12%. We've also recently this morning announced the disposal of our MAS shares. We hold 6.5% of the company. We disposed it this morning actually for 16.75 rand. And that earnings of the disposal of that investment also contributed significantly to us revising our guidance upwards. Okay.
Just on your partnership with your new partner, as it were, at Waterfall. I mean, we had the chair of the Government Employees Pension Funds in studio. He reflected briefly on it. But as you say, that deal being bedded down late last year, around October, so forth. And I'd just like to understand, I mean, the kind of discussions you've been having with your new partner but thus far, and just what shareholders can look forward to as a result of that partnership.
Yeah, the GEPF transaction is centered around Waterfall. So they bought into the company that owns all the buildings and land, which is including Mall of Africa, the tall PwC building. So everything that's situated around Waterfall, they've invested into. And I think for us, a partnership, one and one must make three. The funds of the GEPF significantly catapults us to low gearing, which enables us to develop Waterfall City. We've got 1.4 million square meters of developable bulk left to develop out, which is significant. And that, you know, development game, we need a lot of capital. So I think as two partners coming together, you know, having the ability now to roll out Waterfall substantially quicker than what was anticipated. And I think also sharing the common goal of creating a community and you know, having a deeper purpose than just building buildings, but really, you know, creating jobs, creating infrastructure development for South Africa. And I really think that's where the extra one comes in the equation of one and one makes three. So the alignment, the development activity, and then creating a community for us is very important.
Mm-hmm. And just on your disposal of the remaining shares that you still held in MAS, I can see by your statement around 773 million rand, or just over 773 million rand expected as a result of that disposal. Is that all going to reducing your debt further, or have you got other plans for that money?
Yeah, for the interim, that's how we've worked our guidance out, is between an 8 and a 9% earnings by paying down our debt. Certainly, we've already got very low debt levels due to the GEPF transaction. So for the interim, we'll park the money in debts, but it's not the most efficient for us. So we really want to see where we can deploy the capital into other income-producing assets, and we really, after building a portfolio which has got substantial long-term growth in capital and also income. So we will be evaluating opportunities that we do have on the short-term horizon to further invest the funds into income-producing assets in our portfolio.
Sure. And I can see that you are expecting the entry or moving in of a new tenant in the form of logistics heavyweight, DP World. Quite an interesting one, that is. But perhaps we can talk about your occupancies and whether there is anything more that you can do to close them, as it were, or whether you're happy with occupancies at present levels.
I always say to the team, a vacant building is an opportunity for going, so I'm never happy with a 93% occupancy. Our target is 98%. So coming back to DP World, a phenomenal global logistics player that once again chose Waterfall City as their Southern Africa head office. The recent takeover from DP World on Imperial Logistics, had an opportune time for them consolidating offices, which they've chosen Waterfall to consolidate with. And really that's what Waterfall is about. So DP World is one of the great multinationals we've signed in. I sit in a building which we share with AWS. We've signed off Eppendorf, the likes of Estee Lauder has entered into the portfolio. So really we believe that we're creating a office or a space, an environment where our clients feel happy, they're safe, it's walking distance to the Mall of Africa. So again, it's a community and a lifestyle that we are offering the multinationals. So what can we do more? We try and listen to our clients. We don't want to be a product that, discounts. We believe that we sell a premium product, and we just need to keep on offering the safe, convenient lifestyle for our clients. And I think the rest will sort itself out.
Mm-hmm. Pick n Pay, one of your counterparts, or perhaps a company that's listed on the JSE, the property sector, just talking about the Pick n Pay effect not being so great on its forthcoming earnings. And I'd just like to understand if Attacq is impacted in any way by the financial woes that Pick n Pay finds itself in.
No, it's always worrying, when one of the South African large retailers and also one of South Africa's largest employers, go to tough, hardship. We've gone through it with Edgar's. We literally hold hands with our retailer throughout the, their restructuring. We are very fortunate not to have big exposure to Pick n Pay. It's in around of 10,000 square meters of our entire portfolio. But, we always need to listen, to understand, and to see how we can help navigate Pick n Pay through these tough times. I think it's a remarkable company. It was always the doyen in the first onset of our of retailing, and I really think that with the right leadership, Pick n Pay can turn the tables, but unfortunately landlords will need to sometimes forgo some rental to make that work. So we take it step by step with our retailer and see how we can come to a win-win situation.
Sure. So does that mean that conversations are happening then between yourselves and the management of Pick n Pay? I mean, I'm just trying to deduce, have they indicated any plans to cut back store size within your malls? I know that you said it is a very small space that they occupy across the entire portfolio, but just trying to gauge where those discussions are.
Oh, so I think the Pick n Pay management is trying to be proactive about their space management plans. I think as a landlord, we're also pragmatic about the offering, and we do not want to dilute a Pick n Pay offering in our malls. So we've had conversations. Luckily in our portfolio, we don't see any significant cuts. The portfolio, as we've only got two Pick n Pay grocers, and the rest is Pick n Pay clothing, which also relatively still trades very well. So I think it's a fine balance of management of Pick n Pay wanting to reduce size, but also be very careful of not reducing and diluting their retail offering. And that's our conversation currently with our teams and the Pick n Pay team.
All right. Jackie, just one last point. So you're talking about the fact that distributions rose, the business is doing better, you're getting more rental income, you've reduced your debt. But I can see that you are also talking about the fact that your municipal bill has gotten a lot higher. I mean, I can speak from an individual point of view. I have, my eyes have popped out at what I'm paying for water and electricity in this current environment. I feel like I'm not really getting the service in return, and nor am I feel, in my opinion, highlighted using the quantum to which I feel I'm being billed for. How is that municipal dance happening? I mean, in your organization, just looking at the quantum by which expenses have risen in the period under review.
Yeah, you touch a very, very valid point, and that's a cost we sometimes don't control. Through industry bodies like SAPOA, we really try and mitigate the cost escalation of rates and taxes to ensure that, we don't mind paying what you like. You want to get value for money. And at the end of the day, what we keep on doing is we pay rates and taxes, we fix the potholes, we secure the roads, we look after everything ourselves. Plus, then you've got load shedding, and a big decay of infrastructure that is happening in South Africa. So we as industry bodies try and work with government to see where we can assist, how can we, get the value for money back. And that also takes a lot of work on our side, because as rates and taxes increase, we need to make sure that our cost base doesn't run away with us. We've increased our headcount in Attacq by bringing utility specialists involved, talking about the account that you get. You don't think that you've utilized or consumed all the water. We've got someone checking council and also the meter readings. We've also digitalized the system with a smart utility hub that we've built in Attacq, metering every single point of consumption of water and electricity in our buildings to make sure that we only charge to our clients what is actually being used. That has made a huge impact in the efficiency ratios in our portfolio, but the continuous discussion with government and local authorities on the excessive increases in municipal rates and taxes and the quality of service we get from the from council. And again, it's municipal year, so South Africans need to talk with votes and really make sure that we get the right people in managing our municipalities.
Just on a parting note, so you have raised your guidance for distributions for the year ahead, or for the next 6 months. I'd just like to understand, from you, what you reckon the biggest risk to that guidance is. In terms of a tailwind, you do have the expected fall in interest rates, which generally bodes well for your sector. It puts your consumer in a much better place, of course, to come through to you as well as your tenants. We've seen some revisions in growth, higher, although still not at the levels which South Africa's economy should be growing to really make a dent in economic activity. But as you reflect on your guidance and what you do see batting for you, what could potentially dent that?
A tenant failure could definitely have a massive impact into, with our revised guidance. We also, caveat for that. So for me, it's tenant failure. We've actually, in our guidance, not built in any interest rate reduction. We're quite a conservative bunch here in Attacq, so we really look at our numbers very conservatively. But the biggest headwind we would have is a sudden tenant failure of substance not able to pay our rental. That could have a big impact. But I'm hopeful that we've only got 3-4 months left of our financial year ending June, that we've taken most of those headwinds into account.
Okay. So we'll talk to you then at year end, and it suggests, or your statement suggests, that we could be looking at even better numbers, just given the fact that you haven't baked in potential interest rate cuts, which we're all looking forward to at this present moment in time. But Jackie, thanks so much for the discussion today. Jackie van Niekerk, she's the CEO over at Attacq, helping us to wrap up Power Lunch Southern Africa for today. Thanks to you for watching. As always, do stay tuned. However, Power Lunch West Africa coming up next at the top.